Hello, I'm Robert, and I want to welcome you back to our sessions, our art sessions. We've been doing a lot of watercolors, and watercolors are on the YouTube site. Today, we're going to do an oil painting, and we're going to do a sunset, maybe a sunset waterfall. I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be very bright, very vibrant, and it's kind of midnight sunset. So I think you're going to really find this one is one that you can do very easily and quickly, and it's just a lot of fun. So welcome today. I'm going to take my little guy down here, put him to the side. You can rest while we do this. So the colors that we're going to have today to make this will be titanium white. This is cad. This is Indian yellow. This is cad yellow. This is an orange, and this is a yellow orange. We have a little bit of burnt sienna, our black, ivory black, and I have a little burnt umber over here. So we're going to use those basic colors to make our painting. Now, what I've done already on here, I've taken I think it's about 24 by 24 inch canvas. You can use whatever you wish, 16 by 20, 24 by 18, whatever you wish. This one is a squared one. I put masking tape around the edges. You don't have to do that either. I do that because I like to see it framed, kind of get a little framing at the end. So I'll maintain some black at the end. But that's an option. You do not have to do that. So I then, on top of this, I painted this with black gesso. It's best to have gesso on here versus an acrylic paint, latex paint or something like that, because the gesso will absorb our paints a little bit better. So this is black gesso. I've let it dry, and then I've applied a very thin, even coat of liquid clear on that, or you could use linseed oil, but I've done it very thin. Now this is very important that you do it thin, because if you have it thick on here, your paint will go dripping all the way down. So this is just to prep our canvas, just to make them go a little bit smoother. Our colors go a little bit smoother on. That means we use a little bit less paint. So we don't want to see this very shiny. We don't want to see a thick layer. In fact, after I put this thin coat of liquid clear, in my case, I've taken a little bit of paper towel and just wiped it off. This will get the color or the liquid clear into the canvas, but it won't be on top and won't cause your colors to bleed together low at the bottom. So I've done that. So it's very, very thin. Over on my right, down on the side here, I have some odorless paint thinner. You must, if you're doing this, get odorless paint thinner, or else you won't be working your spot very long, because it'll drive you out with the smell. So I have that over here. I have a little bit of a bucket on the side here. Maybe I can show it to you. And at the bottom of that bucket, I have a beater rack. So I've got a bucket. I put a little bit of a liner in here, and then I've got this rack at the bottom, and that means when I clean the brushes, I can just rub it across here. So you'll see me doing that. Lots of paper towels. And as I said, I have odorless paint thinner. So when we do this, to tackle this painting, this is a waterfall sunset. And like I said, it's going to be some nice dramatic colors in here. The first thing that we want to do is we're going to build a little bit of a horizon over here. And I want to get it with some yellows, but I can't really put the yellow on first. I've got to put, because if I put just a yellow or white or something, it'll mix with the black and this, and it'll give me a little bit of a green on it. So to avoid that, I come up here with my Indian yellow. Of course, it would turn with the black, it would turn green too, so that's another issue. So I'm dragging this out a little bit. I pull that color out and I tap, tap, tap the end. That means hopefully I'll get a nice thin distribution of color on my brush. So I'm going to decide where my horizon, where my lightest spot is going to be, and we'll just get started. So say I'm going to have it over here. So this is my lightest section. I'm just going to do little X's. Get it all coming out. My canvas. This is the sky area. There's some clouds up here eventually. Tap some more color in here. Every time I'm going to start with the brightest section here and work my way out. X strokes. Sometimes I'll hold this easel a little bit so it doesn't shake quite as much. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of, fix it a little bit more. I'm getting some nice actions here in the sky. I'll smooth this out a little bit later, but I just want to get some color. And you're not seeing as much right now, but of course it's a night sky. But you will in a bit. So like I said, X's. Every time I come back to do it again, I come to the center and I work my way out. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my burnt sienna. I tap that a little bit. Tap that into the brush in the end. And I'm going to do the sides a little bit. Just to make it a little bit different, a little bit stronger value. This will bring your eye into the more of the center of this painting. If I make this a little bit darker. Now then, I'm going to take my brush, it's got dirt on it. I'm going to come over here into my brush beater rack. I'm going to clean the brush. There, I've got nice and clean. And then I'm going to come into my CAD yellow, which is a little bit brighter color here. I'm going to put it in the center of my brightest spot again. Work my way out, X's. don't want to lose, I'm not just painting a wall. I want to have a little bit of this action things in here. Clean that brush a little bit more and just add a little bit more yellow in here. Okay. Now I'm going to clean my brush again. Sometimes I even, make sure it is dry. I even touch it with a paper towel. And I think I'm just going to add just a touch of titanium white in there. I'll just come to my brightest spot. And then I'm just going to X that. So I've got my brightest spot. Okay, I'm still making little X's. Now, before I smooth that out, I'm going to take this where the brightest spot is here, and really all these areas here, all these colors here, I'm going to just take and do the same thing. I'm going to leave about 2 inches of dark in here. But then I'm going to come down and right where this color is, I'm going to just pull this down. And this is really going into the water area. Straight down. So what I have on top here, I want to pull it same colors down. These are just kind of reflections in the water. Straight down. It's rough looking to begin with, but we're going to work on this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to clean that brush once again. I have my odorless thinner here. Brush Petitgrac. Take some more paper towel. And I'm just going to smooth this sky out a little bit. So I'm going to use light X strokes. Try to keep my brush as dry as I can. just light, soft X strokes. Start with the brightest and work out. We're just going to smooth the sky out a little bit. And you can make this as soft as you wish. You don't want to lose all those little actions there, those little light and dark spots. So. Come across lightly. And just keep on smoothing it. I'm going to just lightly go across the water down below. Come up. So it's nice and smooth, and we get a little bit of reflections into our water. Okay. Well, I think we have nice soft sky. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean my brush again. Set it aside. I'm going to, and this is the fun part here, I'm going to take my finger in this titanium white, just roll it around, and we're going to make a little bit of a moon over here. Now you can make this as big as you wish. And my finger. And then I'm going to softly go across. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to a fan brush. And I'm going to make a little bit of a dark. So I'm loading my brush up with this dark that I've made. I put a little ultra raw umbrum with the white. And then I'm going to suggest, I'm going to make this like whisker type things almost. I'm going to suggest some clouds coming in here. Almost a rocky motion. We're going to highlight these in a minute, but we'll start. This is again, this is our fan brush, and we're putting on this undercoating. We're gonna highlight them, but we need dark to show light. One right here too. Yeah, we got these little drifty ones. We can't control clouds; they can drift wherever they want. We'll clean this fan brush. And then we're going to highlight the bottoms of the clouds. Now in this case, we do the same thing. Just making that up wispy strokes. Now the light hits on top of this cloud down here. The light hits this way on the top one. So my highlight will be on top. And we'll take a couple little ones and just streak them out. Then clean the brush. Dry it. And then we'll do some nice soft strokes to blend it. Kind of moving this hand up. Across. And soft. Drag it out. Clean a little bit. I'm going to take just a little bit titanium white and put that in there. Okay. Once again, I'll clean my brush, dry it, and just soften it. an upward pull and then drag across. Okay. Maybe I'll throw one more right in here. So, okay. There you have. I think it's a nice, soft sky with a lot of variations inside of it. Clean my fan brush. Okay, now that I have that going on, I'm going to work on this section over here. This is going to be some foliage. So, I'm going to take my ivory black, tap it in here, and then I'm going to pull it out. This is going to take a lot of paint. I pull it out, got a lot of paint in there. So you got lots of paint. This is foliage area over here, trees, little trees. So now that I pulled this out, it's like I've got a heel here, rounded edge, and I got a sharpened heel and toe. So I'm going to take the rounded edge, and I'm just going to come along this line here, our horizon line. I'm going to touch, push, and pull back. Just touching, touch. I'm not moving it back and forth at all. I'm just touching with that round heel. Like I just touch, pull back. Look at all those little things I have going on up there. This is kind of exciting. We get a little bit more, pull it out, and just touch. I don't want to jiggle back and forth or it'll smudge. You know, could you believe you could make a nice foresty area that quickly? Now, set that brush aside. I'm going to come back here with my fan brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of white, And I'm going to come on top here. I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to drag it down to indicate a little bit of a waterfall going on. So I come across, no, straight across, we'll lose that, and then straight down. Okay, that gives us a little bit of an indication of a waterfall. I dry my brush out a little bit. I'll just put a dab of that orange in here. I'll just give it a little bit of that color coming down here, reflected from the moon. Then I'm going to take my clean dry brush, number 1 brush, and I'm just going to tap the bottom a little bit. Just a little indication. A little indication of some foam coming up, splashes. Then I'm going to tap into my titanium white a little bit. I just have a tiny bit on it. And I'm just going to lift up a little bit just to indicate some, tree bottoms in here. Just lift up a little bit. I'm going to come back with my loaded black 1-inch brush. I'm just going to push some more foliage here. And even get that to go over the waterfall a little bit to push it back. Little dangly things over the waterfall. Okay, so we have that. Now we're going to come and we'll build with our, well, I think we'll use our fan brush again. So I'm just loading this brush up with our dark again, both sides. And this is like a V. I'm going to build a little island. So I'm just filling it with color. And on the other side, hold it up again on this other side. I'm going to do the same thing. We don't want them to meet each other because that doesn't look right. Then we're going to clean our brush again. And then I'm going to come back to my 1-inch brush. That is loaded with color again. So I drag that through. And then I'll come up top here, and then I'm going to build some nice grassy type things on top. Good fishing area. Okay. Now, before we go further down here, I'm going to take my liner brush or rigger brush and dipping it into a little bit of the, well, a lot of the odorless paint thinner, because I want this to be very, very liquid, almost like ink. This is our nice liner brush, and I want the whole brush filled. Then I'm going to come up in this from the bottom of the wooded area, and I'm just going to flick up some nice tree patterns. Put another one here. I want these to be nice and loose. I don't want this one to get lonely over here, so I'll build another tree pattern here. Give him a little friend. You can put as many branches as you wish on these things. And when you have that brush, this nice long brush loaded, and nice and free flowing, again, just like ink down here, and you can really make some nice limbs. You can, like I said, you can put as many of these in as you wish. This is where you have a little wiggly hand. It looks it's nice. You have good advantage here. Okay, like I said, you can put as many of these in as you wish. Make them nice and loose and free. They like to enjoy the wind and just flow wherever they wish. They have nowhere to go. They're just out here enjoying the sunset as you are. All right. Clean our little liner brush. We'll come back and drag. We're dragging out again. Ivory black. And now again, I just touch. Push. But don't slide. The heel of the brush first. And don't just, think about clumps. Don't just plop these down. Think about shapes and forms. Drag some on this side. We don't want him lonely. They'll come up to each other, almost talk to each other, these branches here. But again, think clumps. Push out. And as I said, you can make as many or as few of these as you wish. This one almost comes right up to that moon area. Okay. And then you do as many as you wish. Now then, let's take our, let's set this on for a minute. I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to let this sunlight come this way. I'm going to pull out some color here. Got just a tint of yellow in it. I'm going to cut across. I'm going to cut right across here, and I've got a thin roll of paint on here. And I'm just going to come over here, suggest a little bit of light coming down. Just kind of smooth that out a little bit. Just to suggest a little bit of a water. Now, clean this palette knife off. And I'm going to take this 1-inch brush here. It's been working pretty well. You know, I think I'll take a fan brush. And I'm going to take this fan brush and run it across our sienna. And I'm going to just run a little bit of a line underneath here. Clean it up. Clean the brush up a little bit. Get a little bit of this white. I'm going to pour a little bit of white out. A little bit of that burnt sienna. I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight color on here. Just a little bit of dirt. Clean the brush off again. I'm going to come down with a little bit more of my ivory black. So I'm going to build this black up. And at the very bottom, I want to put about a 2-inch strip across here. Then I'm going to roll that brush again. I'll get a heel and a toe. I want to take that rounded section. I'm going to, again, pluck up the nice foliage down here, weeds, stems. Sometimes you have to hold this canvas when you're doing this. Okay, we'll set this aside. I'm going to get a dry brush again. I just want to soften this a little bit, so I'm just touching it. Pull that water out a little bit. Just with the very corner of that brush. And I think I'm going to take this brush and just, I'm going to come into this, I'm going to tap into this yellow area a little bit. I'm just going to add a little bit of light on top of these, barely touching. That's where the sunlight would come down. Maybe it comes in the lower part too. A little bit of light zinging through. Maybe up top here I'll put some too. Okay. Clean the brush. Okay. I'm going to take my liner brush once again. I'm going to make this inky again, very wet. Put a little bit of odorless paint thinner on it. It's dripping down even, so nice and loose. I want it just about like ink. I'm loading the brush up. And I'm just going to suggest a few grassy things down here. So I'm just wisping. And I go the other way. I'm going this way, then I go the other way. Across. These nice, tall, grassy things. This is where if we were out there in the summertime, which is now, get our boat out there. This is where we throw our fishing line and pull in that nice, where the bass would hide in the early morning. Okay, maybe we have another nice tall one. And he's got a little bit of a end to him. Get a couple of these really nice, tall, weeded ones. Maybe cattails or whatever they might be called. Just pressing down on my tip of my liner brush. Maybe there's a couple that come in this area. Okay, so we have the foam of our water going here. Get a few more over here. This will push things back. Okay. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to come in here. Come in here with my palette knife. I've cut a little bit of paint off the end. I'm just going to add a couple more water lines in here. Just take, since I have a little bit of this color on here, I might just touch up some, a few more branches down here. Get some nice light ones. Just here. And we'll come with our 1-inch brush. I'm just going to put a couple highlights on here. So, this side. Just have a few values in here. Break it up. Okay. Then we'll come in we're going to take our liner brush again. First, I think I'll take this palette knife. And I'm going to come in here with a little bit more of our white, our brown. Got this little bit of mixture here. Cut across. I'm just going to make A little bit more bank on here. And a little bit more on this side. Just using the end of the blade here, the knife. Just touch and pull out. Little highlights down here. And just pulling up with the blade of the knife. Get a few more highlights. A few more trees. That, set this down, pull our tape off. Side. Up a little bit so I can get the tape off. And that should put a nice little frame across it. Then we'll come with our nice wet art liner brush inside the liquid or the odorless paint thinner. I'll load this up with red. Come over here. And just sign that one. So, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Robert. Look at our other videos on the YouTube. Like I said, I think you'll enjoy this one. It's rather straightforward. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Look at our other channel, Robert. And thanks once again.